Welcome to ChampionsHeart. You can't play boxing. Featuring boxing addict Johnny Farache and friends from superfans to superstars.
Hey, boxing fans! I have with me today the former WBA Federal Latin champion Travis "Mike Time" Kauffman. How you doing, champ?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for being on. We appreciate you. Kind of crazy time we're living in right now, huh?
Hey, man, I think the world as we know it is over.
Yeah, right on.
They said the world was coming to an end. I guess that's the end of the world as we know it. So,
this is it, huh? This is it. Wow, man. So I heard somewhere in the grapevine that you were actually fell victim to the COVID.
Yeah, knock that shit right out.
Did you? You're a champ. There you go.
That was rough. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I think the media over exaggerates things to make it look worse, to divide and conquer.
Of course.
But it was bad. It was bad because it was a roller coaster. It was one of those things, like, I've had the flu before. I barely ever get sick. I don't get sick much. Last time I was sick was like 3-4 years ago. I'm a single father of 3 kids. I have 4 kids biologically, and I have a total of 6.
Wow.
Huh?
Respect to you by being a single father, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's rough. Look,
yeah.
I name one boxer in history that's made it as far as I have. I was a single father.
A single father long way. Yeah, no. You have a illustrious, great
I'm a
career.
single father of 3. You know what I'm saying?
3.
It's rough. It's rough, but I've been doing it by myself for the last 6 years. Whatever girlfriend I'm with at the time helps out, of course. But
right.
Unfortunately, I have women problems. So
yeah,
that doesn't.
Wow.
Being an athlete and women don't go hand in hand. I mean, they go hand in hand, but it's whatever.
Maybe not a lot, anyway, right? So you kicked COVID's ass. Congrats.
I had it for 7 days.
Okay.
I've been symptom free for about 6 weeks now. My father caught it. My at the time was 11 months old. He's 13 months old now. My 13-month-old son caught it.
Wow.
My son, his mother caught it, and I believe my other son's mother caught it. We all had mild symptoms. We all got through it. For me, it was very mild. Like, I didn't get the bad cough. I had a cough, but it wasn't like super bad. I didn't have the sore throat. It was scratchy, but not real sore. Maybe it's because I tolerate pain so much. I don't know.
Right.
I had body aches real bad. That was the worst. The body aches was the worst, and the headache that I had for the whole 7 days that just would not go away. And it felt like a sinus infection. Like, all this felt so clogged up here. And I got through it. It was scary, and it wasn't scary for me because, listen, man, I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 in 3 months. I don't want to die, but if I die, I lived a long life, more than most people have.
Right.
In 70 years. You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of things most people wish they could do. So I wasn't afraid to die. I was more afraid of I have a son, 2 of my kids have real bad asthma. My 11-month-old at the time was 11 months old. He had asthma. He has asthma. And my 11-year-old has asthma. So I was really afraid for them, and also my father who caught it. He had open heart surgery. He's diabetic. And his symptoms actually lasted the longest. His lasted about 2.5 weeks. Mine only lasted about 7 days. He's been symptom-free now for about a month.
Nice.
So like I said, we all got through it by the grace of God. We're here. Fortunately, there's a lot of people who aren't making it due to COVID, and there's a lot of people who are dying that aren't due to COVID that they're saying is due to COVID.
Right. Exactly. So, speaking of this big mess that we're in here, and obviously the new reality that we're all going to have to face coming back into boxing, obviously derailing everyone's career here. How do you see boxing coming back? I mean, they're starting to lay some blueprints, but what are your thoughts?
I don't give a shit. I just want to fight, man. I'm gonna be real. Excuse my language, but I just want to fight. It's been my last fight was with Luis Ortiz, and that was in 2018. As fighters, we live off of what we get paid per fight, and I'm a single father, so of course my money goes a lot quicker than most people.
Yeah. Well, those mouths to feed.
So, since that fight, I had shoulder surgery because I tore my labrum 3 weeks before I fought Luis Ortiz.
Whoa, wow.
They wanted me to pull out the fight. I was like, no, I was down to $3,000 to my name. I couldn't. There was nothing I could do. My trainer, Nazim Richardson, he said, Travis, you got to pull out. You could die in there. I said, Naz, I could die with 2 hands. This is what I signed up for. I got to provide for my kids. You know what I'm saying? And his love for me, he really didn't want me to take the fight. And I was like, I got to fight. I need this. Like, I don't care. I'm a warrior. I'll fight if I have no arms. I'll bounce around. I'll bounce around. Just bob and weave. I'm a fighter. And let's be real. Like, we all fight because we want to be the heavyweight champion of the world. But I fight. The reality is, I fight to provide for my family, to feed my family. If I could go walk away from the boxing today and go get a job making $100,000 a year, I'd probably do it. But I never worked a day in my life. I'm 35 years old. I'm a felon for selling weed when I was 18 years old. So who's going to hire by the time I retire, let's say 37, 38, who's going to want to hire somebody at that age with zero work experience and is a felon for fucking selling reefer?
Right.
It's sad.
It is sad. There have never been any type of a post-boxing plan for any professional ever, and that's what makes it real tough. And the eye of the tiger, as they say, and what it takes to do this sport. There's not a lot of extra energy left over to kind of plan for what's next and everything else. And there's not a lot of extra guidance and support from companies that help you unless you're signed by a huge promoter.
If you look at fighters' history, people that make decent money, and people who haven't walked away early. If you look at people who walked away early, they've made out okay because they started a different life.
Yep.
But the people who stay in it because this is the only way they know how to provide. For instance, me, this is all I've ever done. I never worked a 9 to 5.
Right. Let's talk. I want to talk about you coming up in your career because you started off red hot, man. You came out of the amateurs and you fought in the National Golden Gloves. You broke into
shit was crazy. I was number 1 in the country as an amateur. In 2005, I was undefeated internationally. Yeah. I'm gonna be real. Like, I know I'd be a multimillionaire today. I know I'd be a world champion today. I didn't take my career seriously, man. I was a knucklehead. I depended on my talent and not discipline. I didn't have no discipline.
So let's talk about that real quick. You got a boxing scholarship, which probably one of very few people that have ever gotten a boxing scholarship for college to, I think, Northern Michigan or Michigan.
Northern Michigan University.
Right, which they, do they still have that program for one?
I believe so. It's the Olympic Education Center. I went up there for 2 months. I dropped out. I didn't want to go. School was never my thing. I'm going to keep it real. Like, at 17, I was number 8 in the country as an amateur. I just graduated. I just graduated high school. I was number 8 in the country as an amateur, and I didn't want to box. Boxing wasn't my thing. My father kind of forced me to box. I was like, I was in the streets. I was doing knucklehead stuff. I was smoking cigarettes at the time, smoking weed, of course. I was a knucklehead kid running the streets, and I didn't want to box. My dad was like, "No, you got to go out there. It's a full scholarship." I said, "Dad, I got accepted to Thaddeus Stevens School of Technology. I want to do a trade. I don't know nothing. I've always felt since a kid I want to learn something with my hands. Even since I'm 35, I don't even know how to hang up a fucking picture." So I've always wanted to learn how to do something handy, and so I wanted to go to school for that. And my boxing was my dad's passion, and I boxed. I started boxing because I wanted to get close to my dad. My dad was a single father, but he was working all the time. He had his business, then he opened up the gym. So boxing took my dad away from me. So I hated boxing, so I didn't want to do it. And like I said, I've always had this talent. Never had the love. Early in my life, I never had the love for the sport. I didn't start loving the sport until I started making 6 figures. Then I started loving the sport. I'm keeping it real. I didn't love the sport.
You know what? That's a crazy, not crazy, but that's a very familiar dynamic when you have the father who, I know your father had 6, 7 amateur fights and then went to raise you boys and then you put both you boys into boxing. And that's a wild dynamic when a kid, it's kind of, I'm not saying to say pushed into boxing, but, boxing has to.
Well, for me, boxing, in a sense, boxing chose me. I mean, I'm glad, when I was a kid, I didn't want to box. Even as a man, at 20 years old, when I was pro, I didn't want to box. And I was telling my dad, I didn't want to do it. So I kept doing it because my dad kept pushing me because he said, Travis, you got something special in you. Like, you can fight. Like, I just never had the discipline. I was a knucklehead. I was 20 years old around with this woman, that woman. I had kids on the way. And, thank God for I have 4 kids from 2 women. Thank God. But, I was a knucklehead. I didn't care about it. I just think I didn't care about life. I really didn't care about life. I went through all this depression. Till today, I'm 35 years old, still doing depression really bad. That's why when Tyson Fury went through his little thing, I reached out and I shared my love, and because I've been there. I've been in that same shoes, suicidal, and I deal with it all the time. I mean, I just recently went to some church retreat just because I wanted to get closer to God because my mind is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, not knowing what to do with your life when you've been boxing your whole life, and I still love to box. Like, now, I told you, once I started making money, I love boxing. I love boxing because I'm being a single father is giving my kids a life that I never had as a kid. You know what I'm saying? My dad worked hard and he had decent money, but he didn't have the money I had. He didn't have the freedom I had. As a kid, I struggled with abandonment issues because my dad was never around. My dad worked all the time. So what boxing gives me is time to be with my kids all the time. I'm with them all day long. So I love that. I love that about
Beautiful.
Boxing. For instance, I leave May 28th to Texas for camp. I'll be in camp for 2 months. Can't name who I'm fighting yet. because nothing's locked in.
Okay.
They're supposed to open things back up in June, July, whatever it is. But I'm supposed to be fighting in July on Showtime. Hopefully, I don't want to. There's no guarantee yet because there's nothing signed. But I'm going to camp May 28th, and the good thing about it, my 14-year-old son's going to come with me. He's going to stay with me the whole camp for 2 months. This is my first time ever doing it.
How cool is that? Nice. That's a nice camp. 2 months is a nice camp.
That's Travis Jr. He's 6'2", 265 pounds. Big boy.
So let me ask you this. We just talked about your father getting you into boxing and that. How do you feel about putting your kids into the sport, knowing what type of damage we take?
Nope. Now, here's the difference. If my kids choose, I always mess with my kids. I'm like, you guys got to learn how to box. Because I don't know anything else. Like my one son loves football. My other son loves basketball. I don't know those sports. Right. So for me, it's like I want you to box because I want to get closer to you. I want to have that bond in a sense. But I always tell my kids, I don't want you to box. If you choose to box, I'll back you 1,000%. I'll make sure nobody in this industry fucks you over. And if they do, they gotta deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a nice guy, but you ain't gonna F over my kids. So, I really don't want my kids to box. I don't because number one, it's a slimy business. Plus, there's nothing to be said after boxing. And in a sense, it's like it's your own career. Like for instance, even when I was healthy, I'm only fighting once a year. How do I provide? How do I provide? It's tough, man. It's tough. And if I didn't have kids, I'd have a lot more money. I've had a lot more freedom. But I'd be real. If I didn't have kids, I'd be dead. You know
what though? I know my son's worth more than all the money put together in the world. That's for sure. 5 minutes with him. So, let's rewind a little bit, dude. So, how, you said you left college. You didn't have the love for boxing. So, how did you get into pro boxing? What was the step there?
I fought. My last amateur fight was I beat the 2004 or 2008. 2004. I beat the 2004 Olympic bronze medalist.
Bronze medalist, right.
From Azerbaijan. I fought him, beat him, and I knew it was between me and Mike Wilson at the time, a super heavyweight, even though Mike Wilson never won with someone else. Mike Hunter won. Normally they pick their guy 2 years in advance. And I was number one in the country at the time. And then I went to the Pals. I fought Mike Wilson and beat the crap out of him. And they gave him a fight. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And at that time, I had no discipline either. And I was in the streets. And the money they were giving me, $500 a month, wasn't enough to provide for my kid's mom. Because at the time, she was pregnant with my first son. And $500 a month stipend they were giving me. And that wasn't enough to provide for my kids. You know what I'm saying? No way. So once I knew there was too much politics, I turned pro, and even when I turned pro, I didn't really want to do it. This is the only way I know how to provide. I don't know any other way. Boxing. I just know how to do it. I'm good at it. Without training, I'm good at it. And I was so stupid. Now I'm older. Now I have to train. I'm older now.
Right. Well, I'm glad you turned pro because you've definitely entertained me many of times. That's for sure.
Listen, there hasn't been one fight I've been in that's been boring.
No, I'll agree to that. Not one that I've seen anyway. You've seen
all my TV fights. Have been wars. I mean, me and Mansour was a war.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. Let me back up.
Arreola was a war.
Yeah, I want to talk about both those fights, kind of in a little bit of detail. But before that, I want to talk about you came out of the gate 13 wins, and then you meet former national Golden Glove champion, I think it is Tony Grano.
18 wins. I was 18-0.
18-0. Check that. Thank you. 18-0. Man, what a record. What a high. Then you met Tony Grano, beating the crap out of him up until the 4th round.
Yeah, I mean, a year and a half before that fight, if you look at that fight, my body probably looked the best it's ever looked in my life.
Hey, you look.
A year and a half before that fight, I was 310 pounds.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went through depression real bad. I gained 80 pounds in 2 months. Bad. I have stretch marks. My body suffers from it now. But I blew up. I went through all this depression. Was suicidal. Just didn't want to live, and gained all this weight. Was huge. So a year and a half before that, I was huge. And even though I was in the Muhammad Ali training camp and I was eating 4 or 5 meals a day, huge meals, and I was in shape, when I was the main event on Showtime, in a sense, I was afraid to eat because I was like, if I eat, I'm going to lose my abs. I had abs for the first time. So I was like, man, if I eat, I'm going to lose my abs. And everybody's telling me, like, Trey, don't worry about that shit. You got to put gas in your tank. I said, "Now I'm going to beat this boy up," and I really was the A side supposed to, win.
Right.
That day I remember for breakfast I had 2 eggs, and later on, right before the fight, I had a protein bar. That's all I had that whole day. The day before I had oatmeal, and that's it. I have this tendency till today. I still dry out before all weigh-ins. I don't know why. I don't have to make weight. It's just a habit since the amateurs.
Right.
Like I like to be as light as I could be for a mental boost. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Feel good, look good, feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always tried to be as light as I could be. Not saying it helps. It probably hurts me more than it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. When I fought Grano though, I ate nothing. So my gas was on empty. I was beating the piss out of it. It was a war for the first 4 rounds until it got stopped in the 4th round.
But let me ask you about in the 4th round. Was that you think that that low blow was intentional?
Absolutely, that's a veteran move. He did what he had to do.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, I started. Here's what happened. After he hit me with the low blow, I knew he was hurt. He was hurt bad, and my mindset was the street mindset came out of me. I'm gonna fuck this boy up. Like he just hit me with a low blow, and he's just trying to survive. I'm gonna take his head off. If I take the 5 minutes to recover, he's gonna recover. I know I was hurt, but I was like, I'm good. If I take the 5 minutes to recover, he's gonna recover and he's not gonna be hurt no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I thought he's hurt. Let me not let him recover. Stupid. Very stupid.
Yeah.
I go out there. I hit him again. Boom, boom, boom. He spits his mouthpiece out.
Yep.
So of course, I start fighting. So of course I started fighting with my heart instead of my head. I really wanted to hurt this dude. I was like, yo, this mother effer is really doing some slimy-ish. So it's smart, very smart on his part.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I threw another punch and I felt all this energy zap out of me. I was like, damn, I should have taken the 5 minutes to recover. So I'm like, let me get this dude out there. I load up, instead of leading with a jab, I lead with a hook. Missed the hook, hit me with a right hand that stunned me.
Yep.
Stunned me, of course, more from exhaustion than anything.
Yep.
I'm stunned. Because if you look at my face, I got dropped by Scott Alexander. I didn't train at all for that fight. For Scott Alexander, I didn't train at all. When I fought Luis Ortiz, every time I got dropped, I got up. You know, I'm up, smiling. I have a great chin. You know.
Yeah, you do.
So when he hurt me, I'm stepping back, and I still have my wits. My legs are gone, but I still have my wits. And when I take a move from a right hand, you can look on YouTube, clear as day. I don't like bullshit. I want to go back up. The back of my head hit the TV camera guy. Look on YouTube, clear as day.
I gotta watch it. Yeah, interesting.
TV camera guy was on the stage. The side of my head glanced at the TV camera. I'm dazed. I'm gone. And Tony, he didn't punch me to put me down. He clotheslined me in a sense.
Yeah, he like pushed you down almost.
And first time I'm really getting dropped. Like first time I was hurt. First time I'm dropped. So I go to rush up like an idiot. And I rush up and I'm exhausted. Like, what's going on? I went in a panic mode more than anything. Like, what's going on? I got to get up. And I rolled over and the ref stopped it.
Yeah.
So that was actually
like seconds left too.
That was exactly the same exact ref. And Tony Grano said after the fight he was going to quit that round if he didn't make it out that round. Man. But anyways, but look where he's at. Look where I'm at. So there's
you know what? Exactly so. And you know what? Another, I had a champion's heart, which is obviously my thing here. But a true champion is that one, in my opinion, that comes back from a loss like that and steps back in the ring. And you came back swinging. You got some nice wins.
Listen, man, like I said, when I fought, it was funny because when I fought Scott Alexander, when he dropped me, he couldn't punch at all, but it was fast as a melee. I went into that punch. I loaded up southpaw trying to take him out. I'm like, oh, he's done. I was fat as shit. Didn't train for the fight. And I'm like, I'm going to take him out. I load up, and my whole head went into his hook. Quick hook. Boom.
Yep.
My legs gave out of me. I was done. I mean, how I got up, I remember everything that was going on. I knew everything that was going around me. The first thing I thought about was the Tony Grano fight. The ref that was for the Scott Alexander fight was the same exact ref for the Tony Grano fight.
Oh, wow.
So I kept saying to myself, Trav, if you rush to get up, he's stopping it. I said, you're going to lose to a nobody. So I took my time to get up, took my breath, rolled over, got to the 8 count, and then hopped up. And I went on, of course, to win the fight. Close fight. I give credit to Scott Alexander. I took it on a 10-day notice. I was supposed to fight. I was actually getting ready for Antonio Tarver, but he couldn't pass another drug test. So unfortunately, I mean, that's what comes with it. And I'm a fighter. I'll fight you on 1 day notice. I don't give a shit.
Man, and you are a fighter. Let's back up a couple fights to Chris Arreola, which was one of my favorite fights. I called it the fight of the year that year. I love that fight with you guys. You guys just battled back and forth. He came out strong in the beginning. You caught a mid-win during the middle rounds, back and forth. Man, another low blow in that fight too, if I'm not mistaken.
I actually hit him with a low blow.
Right. Okay.
I dropped him. When I dropped him in the 3rd round, he pulled my pants down. And then the 9th round was a low blow. I thought it was a body shot, but when I watched the video, it definitely was a low blow.
Right.
He did the smart thing by taking the time to recover. I wanted that mentality to hurt him. And even though I watched the fight probably 10 times, 20 times, and every time I score the fight, what was it? I think it was 115, 112. That was what the or no, I lied. 117, it was 8 rounds. Anyways, 8 rounds to 4 with the knockdown. But I said, being biased, let me give him a round. So 7 rounds to 5 with the knockdown.
7-5 with the knockdown still gives you the fight, right?
115, 112. That's what comes out to 115, 112 then. Well, I don't know how. Stevie Wonder called me and I said, I seen the fight, man. I don't know how you lost.
I had a score. Stevie Wonder gave you a score. An incredible fight. You guys both made some incredible adjustments back and forth that made it such a fun fight to watch. At first he came out like a bull in the third round.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Oh, man, I would love to see you guys do it again. What are the chances?
Nah, I doubt it's going to happen. I through the grapevine, I heard somebody's about to get Andy Ruiz.
Right on. That'd be a good fight for you.
I would love that fight. I've always wanted to fight Andy Ruiz. He's fast. You can underestimate. Don't ever underestimate him. No, I mean, that's one of those boys you see a fat boy. I underestimate.
Dude, let me ask you this, man. He had the chance for a lifetime to do what he needed to do. And a guy like you that, is like drooling for that opportunity. Talk about.
I'm gonna put it in my aspect because I probably would have fucked up too. I probably, if knowing I'm getting $10 million, I probably would have fucked up too. My life is set forever.
Yeah.
I struggled with discipline my whole life.
Right.
And the reason obviously struggles from discipline. So, here was the deal. I don't think he ever thought he would ever be the heavyweight champion of the world. In my opinion, I don't think he ever really thought he'd ever be. He knew he had the skills. Right. But his discipline, when you're not disciplined, you lack some type of confidence. And I'm very confident, but I know there's always that one time where it's like, damn, I know I can push another round, but let me ease off a little bit. Let me ease off.
Boxing 75% mental, and if you don't have that strong mindset to push you through, and I'm not talking to push you through that 12th round. I'm talking.
Listen, when I fought Arreola, it was a 12-round fight. They told me that day it was a 12-round fight. I trained for a 10-round fight. I never won 12. I never even won 10 rounds before.
Wow.
So I was like, let's do it.
Man.
I was with it. I'm a fighter, man. Like, first of all, I know there's a little more money on the line once there's 12 rounds instead of 10 rounds.
Of course, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it.
Let's talk about what the fans don't see, man. You guys freaking battled each other for 12 solid rounds. What did the next week look like for you?
For me, I was good. The next 2 days I was hurting. I was a little sore. But I guarantee you, Chris was a lot more hurting than me.
Yeah.
I was up. At the time, I was engaged at the time. Thank God I'm not engaged to her no more. One of them things. But I was with this girl at the time, came back home, and right away, as my biggest payday at the time, I was like, let's go look for a house.
There you go. And then you came home, and not long after that, I guess September the next year, you had a fight in Reading there at your hometown.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the frustration came in, because when I fought Arreola, I was promised to fight within the next 4 or 5 months, and I didn't fight again for a whole year. And and that's another reason why me and my fiance fell through in a sense, was because I told her, stop working, I'm gonna take care of you. The money was supposed to be great, and I was supposed to get double the money, and things fell through. Things that happened, but the good thing is that without him, and he gives me huge opportunities. Like I said, with the Ortiz fight. That opportunity came through at the last minute. I got it on they called me 6.5 weeks before the fight. I was 275 pounds. They called me 6.5 weeks before the fight. I was 275. They said, Trav, you want to fight Ortiz? I didn't question. I asked how much money. I said, yes. I hopped in my car in my house now. Hopped in my car, drove down to my house in Houston, and started training camp. Trained for 6 weeks, and I weighed in at 229. So I started at 272 and weighed in at 229. So, like I said, I'm one of those dudes. I'm just gonna fight. I know. Look what I did on 6 week notice with Ortiz. Now everybody thought he was gonna dominate me. Ortiz is definitely skill wise the best heavyweight till today. Skill wise, I would say he's one of the best heavyweight skill wise
that you've faced, or you're saying
not that in general. I think in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right on.
So I think in general. So. Skill-wise, he's one of the best. They call him the boogeyman. Everybody's afraid to fight him. Yeah. Wilder wasn't afraid to fight. I think at first Wilder was a little scary to fight him, but then he got his number. Right, Wilder got that right hand. Skill-wise, he's terrible, but he got that right hand to knock the equilibrium. I'll have you reading your dog a bedtime story, putting your kids in the doghouse.
Yeah.
But
got that punch but
Ortiz, I think Ortiz beats Joshua. Maybe not now. He's getting a little older, of course. But Ortiz, Dylan White didn't want to fight him, so I jumped in to fight him on a 6-week notice. Still won 10 rounds, and everybody thought, I got knocked out in 3 rounds, and because I'm a nobody. People don't really know me. They only know me from the Arreola fight. I don't have this huge marketed name in a sense, and people didn't know he's gonna get knocked out in 3 rounds. And I went out there and I boxed my ass off. Unfortunately, I had one arm. I had no strength. I lost. No excuses. I mean, I fought. I don't give a shit.
No, you got in there and you fought.
I lost 42 pounds in 6 weeks.
Which labrum did you tear?
My left shoulder.
So you couldn't throw no hooks. You couldn't throw anything from that side. That's why you changed to southpaw a lot in the fight, huh?
Yeah, I changed southpah a lot in that fight. I mean, I can fight southpaw. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you do. You change back and forth. You did that with Arreola too. Definitely makes you definitely multifaceted. So, all right, man, you're gonna be in 2 months. You say you're going into camp for 8 weeks.
I hope so. I mean, let's hope that pulls through. Hope this COVID shit clears up and we're back to in the ring fighting, man. Because just as a boxer, I mean, this is how I live to get money. But just for the fans as well, the fans miss it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the fans do miss it, and I miss it. We all miss it. We need to get back to work. Need to get back going. We're gonna have to make some adjustments to the new reality, what is, and not maybe fighting in front of so many fans, but we can keep the momentum going. We can keep fighting and just keep going. So, man, I look forward to kind of. I look forward to opening the doors. I know Top Rank was talking about they're gonna start doing shows in
June.
Yeah, two a week for like 12 weeks or so. Wow. That's good. That's awesome. So, I look forward to you coming back. We'll check back in with you. I appreciate you come on the show with me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
No problem. Hey, there you go. Before we go. So what? Always love asking. If you had you're in the best division. You're in the heavyweight division. But if you could have a pound for pound fight with anybody in boxing right now, who would you like to square up with?
Right now, do they have to be active fighters?
No.
Floyd Mayweather, I want money.
There you go. That'd be a great PS2 match. Yeah.
Right. You said any weight division, so I mean, Floyd, that's where the money's at.
Yeah, you're right.
In that division, Anthony Joshua's where the money's at. I want to fight Anthony. I beat him, but let's say that will never happen or will happen. I hope it does, but we'll see.
Right now, what celebrity would you like to fight?
Celebrity?
Yeah. Is there anybody out there? Kevin Hart's a little guy, but I don't know. Would you like to box The Rock?
Nah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have no anger or I don't dislike anyone. Even my opponent, I don't dislike him. I just want to F him up that day.
That's all, and get paid, right?
Let's cut this check. Let's go home and feed our kids.
And you know what you do every time you do that? You give the fans a bunch of excitement. You're one of the most exciting heavyweights out there. I look forward to you coming back in a couple months, and we'll check back in with you, my man.
Appreciate you, brother.
No problem. Let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
You can follow me on Instagram at mytime_champ. That's the same as Twitter's exactly the same, mytime_champ. I have a Facebook fan page, Travis MyTime Kauffman. Even my personal page, add me on there. I'm very social with my people. I try to stay in the social media light with all my fans and everything. Follow me. I'll be back in the ring soon, I hope.
All right. Yes, you are. All right, my man. Have a great day and have a great comeback and have a great camp. We'll talk to you soon, champ.
Thanks, brother.
All right, brother. Catch you later.